Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to. I know it's been a while. I know it's been months now. I think it's been months now. And I'm not fully back. Um, I haven't had enough time to really think of a topic of a video or anything like that. So this is gonna be a video that I'm gonna do for now as like a little teaser. Well, not a little teaser, but like a little, I guess, a little sample of an even bigger video I'm gonna do later on down the road, more than likely. Um, Now I've seen Battlefield 6, right? I've seen Battlefield 6. It looks good, and I think that is shaped up to be a really good game. Um, I see a lot of positivity around the Battlefield 6 because Battlefield 6, unlike Call of Duty, Battlefield 6 is shaping up to be a decent game. There's a lot of good things to say about it, but I'm not going to talk too much about Battlefield 6 right now. I'm actually going to talk about the negative discourse around Call of Duty. I think that it's a little bit bigger compared to Infinite Warfare because I remember Infinite Warfare came out. I even hate on the game. I even hate on Infinite Warfare around that time, 2016. The game first coming out and all that. Um, the trailer came out most disliked on top of like Baby from Justin Bieber and all that. It was like I think the second most disliked video in history of YouTube. And here's one thing that I say now because we've been down this road before, and I know that everybody. I mean, I know that Call of Duty needs competition. Call of Duty has been very complacent for a long time, and I understand that. Here's here's an argument that I've also heard against this idea that Battlefield's gonna kill Call of Duty because Battlefield 1 was as good, maybe a little bit better than Battlefield 6. And look at where that game turned out. It still sold, it still made EA a lot of money, but even with microtransactions that happened back in the day, which most AAA games were doing, like the supply drops, and the then the U.S. government decided we're gonna make this legal now. We're gonna legalize this gambling Ponzi scheme. So it's the end of that, right? But Battlefield 1 came out, and Infinite Warfare was the most hated game. The funny thing about Infinite Warfare is that Infinite Warfare came out, and it still sold more. It still sold way more than Battlefield. And that's the crazy part. That's a crazy thing. Battlefield 1 was the most beloved game. It was gonna be better than Call of Duty. It's gonna have like the World War II feel, the World War II stories, and all of that stuff. Call of Duty still sold more. 2016. And Infinite Warfare probably was the best year for a lot of people who didn't buy into I want to say the hype. A lot of people who didn't really go to like Battlefield 1 necessarily because it wasn't as sweaty. All the sweaty people went to Battlefield 1 around that time. So a lot of people who are playing Battlefield 6 are a lot of the same people who sweat a lot in Call of Duty. A lot of people who complain about cheaters, they complain about people hacking, and they are the ones, and they complain about people who sweat a lot too. They are also the ones who sweat in the game a lot. They're complaining about their own people who also complain about Call of Duty as well. So what I'm basically saying is the argument that I'm presenting here is that we've been down this road before. And I bet you that Black Ops 7 will still sell tons more still. Even Optimus said this too, because a lot of people like to buy skins from Call of Duty, and that still rings true to this day. I don't know for how long, maybe until the world cease to exist, or somehow in some way like Activision actually loses a bunch of money. But who the fuck knows, right? We don't really know if Call of Duty is really gonna die or not, as long as people still spend money, which there are millions upon millions of people who still spend money to this day to Call of Duty, regardless of whether the negative opinions mostly consist of people who have been playing Call of Duty, the OGs of Call of Duty, which I get it, I understand. We like to think that 2009 can still exist today, but that was so many years ago. 2009, we're not in 2009 no more. And half of those fucking people, most of those people are old, they're retired, they don't want to do this shit no more, they don't want to make games anymore, they're too old for that shit. And yeah, that's just how it is. The industry of anything changes over time. If a lot of people like what they see in Call of Duty, they like to spend money on Beavis and Butthead and fucking American Dad and all that, there's nothing you can realistically can do to actually kill Call of Duty if that's the case. Now, I understand fundamentally that people want to add filters into the skin of Call of Duty, which will never happen. And let me tell you why it'll never happen, because Activision doesn't give a fuck about how you feel. Also, it's part a waste of resources, let's be honest with you. So yeah, I honestly don't think, I personally don't see it as a problem, but I understand, but I also don't see it as a big problem, in my opinion at least. Despite my opinions about how ridiculous people are when it comes to like Call of Duty, and Call of Duty needs to be a certain way for them to have fun with the game and not have skill-based matchmaking, which is contributes to it kind of contributed to X-Defiant's decline. Even though these YouTubers like the Rick and that one guy, a lot of these Call of Duty YouTubers will tell you that no, that's not why X-Defiant dies, because Ubisoft didn't give it a chance. And even though Ubisoft dumped like a bunch of money into that game, so that means that they were betting on that game succeeding long term rather than short term. By the fact that already disproves your argument. By you saying that retarded thing, that already disproves your argument. Now, another thing too that I like to mention is well, the last thing I'm going to mention is that we've been down, we've already seen the two game. We've barely seen Black Ops 7 yet, and people are already hating on it. And it looks to be like kind of like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 at the same time, if you really think about it in a sense of like the tone of the tone of the game, and what's really going for. I'm not talking about the campaign in Zombies, by the way. I'm not talking about the multiplayer. I don't know about the multiplayer. It probably could be like a cartoony fucking like PBS Kids type game, right? Never know. But um in terms of the campaign, we barely ever we haven't really seen much. And then we have those people who are complaining about, this is woke DEI because there's strong female protagonists, and then there's some women that are developers in the studios. And what do they know about FPS shooters, right? And you go the gender discrimination and making sure that women don't ever work in the gaming industry ever again, which is not the problem. The problem is the yearly cycle, which also EA has confirmed that they're going to be doing the same thing going forward that Call of Duty's been doing for so long. And I'm going to have all other video explaining and elaborating as to why that's a problem, even for Call of Duty. But I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think that Call of Duty is going to die. I think that two of the games are going to coexist with each other. And maybe there might be a little competition here and there, which it seems like with the leaks that are coming out, that's what it's looking more like right now. That I think that Call of Duty might go through a tough time with Battlefield 6 in some kind of way. I honestly think that maybe that could be a possibility, but again, not enough to actually kill Call of Duty. So that's pretty much what I have to say. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and share, and all of that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.